Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jackson.
From Top Notch Sports. Today, we're going to go over the Detroit Lions off-season salary review with this guy right here, Dan Campbell, who wants to install toughness back into the city of Detroit. This video is going to be all about the Detroit Lions off-season, the free agency, the mock draft, and so on and so forth. So let's hop right into it, where Jackson will break down the very first slide. Go ahead.
Well, they're definitely tough over there in Detroit. This team is negative $1.6 million in the cap. You can definitely get out of that with the right cuts. These are the players currently under contract going into 2021. When we go look at their notable losses, you can see who they're losing due to free agency. Green is you cut and you save. Red is you cut and you lose. Without further ado, let's look at the offensive side of the ball. The big trade this offseason that was just too recent, Jared Goff going over to the Detroit Lions, and you guys sent to the LA Rams. Matt Stafford also in that trade. You guys received 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. Definitely a great trade, in my opinion, for the future. You look at this offense, you definitely are struggling at the receiving core. You're losing some receivers this season. We go over looking at notable losses. Very mediocre offensive line, in my opinion. Taylor Decker ain't back, and Frank Ragnow was a Pro Bowler. But you definitely want to address your 2 guards and your right tackle. TJ Hawkinson, very, very good tight end. He's an elite tight end in this league, and he's proved it. Very solid pick there from a couple years ago. Go over look at this defensive side of the ball. Again, not up to par. You look at the linebacker core. It's not solid. You definitely want to address that in the draft. And that's definitely this defensive line. Trey Flowers ain't bad, but again, definitely want to address this front 7. Looking at the cornerbacks, Desmond Trufant didn't do too solid. And then Jeff Okudah, again, was a 3rd overall pick this past draft. Didn't live up to his expectations. And you definitely want to address the safety. So, you want to address this whole defense pretty much in free agency and the draft. We'll have to see what new head coach Dan Campbell does. I'm very excited to see what he does and what this Detroit front office does this offseason. Nick, over to you.
Absolutely. So again, just real fast breakdown. Again, like Jackson said, negative $1.6 million in the cap. Going to have to make some moves to free that up. This offense, you got DeAndre Swift, who I think is a pretty good future running back for this team. I think he can do a little bit of everything, catch the ball, run the ball. He's a solid weapon. And you got TJ Hawkinson over here, tight end. Like Jackson said, this guy is an elite tight end in this league. You got Ragnow and Decker to lock down at least part of this offensive line. So offensive line is definitely going to need to be addressed. Trey Flowers over here. I think you guys also drafted last year Julian Okwara. I was a fan of him coming out in last year's draft. We're going to see if he has maybe a bigger role this upcoming season. Jeff Okudah over here. Wasn't a huge fan of him coming out of the draft, but we'll have to wait and see. I think this kid has a lot of potential yet. A lot of people want to knock him because he's going to have a great season. Give this kid time. I think he will shine for you guys. So let's hop right into the next slide where we're going to go over our notable losses. Mike, go ahead.
All right, so let's start off with these notable losses. But before we begin, got to give a shout-out to our numbers guy, Noah the Garden Hose Thompson, always coming through, getting these numbers for us, and we couldn't do it without him. So let's start this off with Marvin Jones, longtime Lions receiver. They're going to be losing him. His expected contract is a 3-year, $31.5 million contract, and he played 89.8% of the snaps. Then we got Romeo Okunara. He is an edge. His expected contract is a 3-year, $30.3 million, and he played 66.0% of the snaps this season. Then we got cornerback Darryl Roberts. His expected contract is a 1-year, $1.6 million deal, playing 45.3% of the snaps. We got edge Everson Griffin, 1-year, $4.5 million deal is the estimated contract, and he played 50.2% of the snaps. Reggie Ragland, linebacker, his expected contract is a 1-year, $1.2 million, and he played 53.6% of the snaps this season. We got an important piece right here, wide receiver Kenny Golladay. His expected contract is a 5-year, $85 million deal, but he was only able to play 23% of the snaps this season. We got Daron Harmon, free safety. His expected contract is a 3-year, $18 million deal, and he played an exceptional 99.1% of the snaps. And then punter Jack Fox, 2-year, $1.8 million is the expected contract, and he played 12.7% of the snaps.
Absolutely. So typically, like every team, I'm going to say the same thing I always say. You want to bring back the guys that play a high percent of the snaps. These guys are familiar with the system. Even though it's changing, they got some continuity, chemistry, together. So you want to bring back some of these guys so they have some kind of chemistry together. Let's hop into the next slide where I'll break down the potential targets. Potential targets, here you go. Estimated cap space is negative $1.6 million. Estimated cuts, we got you guys cutting Desmond Trufant for $6.2 million, Nick Williams for $4.7 million, Justin Coleman for $5 million, Danny Shelton for $4 million, Christian Jones for $2.6 million, and John Atkins for $700, and I'm pretty sure it was $50,000. All this together is going to add up to $21.6 million in estimated cap space available. Estimated signings, we got you guys re-signing Romeo Okwara for a 3-year, $30.3 million deal, Everson Griffin for a 1-year, $4.5 million deal, punter Jack Fox for 1 year, $1.8 million deal, and Duron Harmon for a 3-year, $18 million deal. All these together make you have $21.5 million in total cost. And we got you guys also bringing back Kenny Golladay on a franchise tag on a 1-year, $23 million deal, which you guys can do, which will put you at negative $22.9 million in estimated remaining cap. With these moves up here, you guys still have $100,000 left in cap. Once you franchise tag Kenny Golladay, you guys are officially negative $22.9 million. Here's all your team needs. You guys got a lot of team needs. That's just a sad reality. But again, you guys got a lot of future capital. So let's see what we can do. Wide receiver, we're addressing that by franchise tagging Kenny Golladay. We also got you guys re-signing edge Romeo Okwara and Everson Griffin. We also got you guys re-signing Duron Harmon at free safety. Through the draft picks, you guys get a first, a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth. In this mock draft of ours, this mock trade we got you guys trading down that 7th overall pick to a team like the New England Patriots, maybe the Washington football team or the Chicago Bears. You guys trade away that 7th overall pick. You guys get a mid-first rounder, depending on who it is. You get a 3rd round pick this year as well, and you get a 1st round in 2022. I think this is the right move. I don't know who's going to really be there that's going to make this team go to the next level in the 7th overall pick, especially if you're not going to go for a quarterback. You trade to the mid-first, you pick up a 1st next year and a 3rd this year as well. With that being stated, we got you guys drafting Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah to fill in that outside linebacker need this year in the draft in the 1st round. In the 2nd round, we got you guys drafting Amon-Ra St. Brown, a wide receiver in the 2nd round to fill in that wide receiver need. So now looking at this offseason, it's not so bad. You still got 3 third rounders to draft, 1 that we're picking up from our mock trade, 2 that you already have, a 4th and a 5th that you still didn't get. We're not predicting for you guys. There's still so much that you guys can do. It's going to be hard to predict. So we did predict your first 2 rounds. And on the next slide, we'll show you guys your 2021 expected starters. Go ahead, Jackson.
All right, this is your 2021 expected starters. We're going to the cap space, your negative $22.9 million on the whole with all the signings and especially that franchise tag. So that's going to bring you down there. Look on the offensive side of the ball. We brought back Kenny Golladay on the franchise tag. That's why he's orange. All these guys in orange are the guys we brought back that were on the team last year. We drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 2nd round to help also with the receivers. You got Quintez Cephas also at receiver. So you got some guys, you can work around, help Jared Goff out a little bit, and then DeAndre Swift in the backfield. You still definitely want to address the offensive line again. You got 3 third-round picks, so you can definitely get some studs in those middle rounds on the offensive line. Going over the defensive side of the ball, you definitely want to address cornerback. You got Armani over here, and then Jeff Okudah again. Didn't pan out. Hopefully he does. I hope he does have a breakout season this year. Definitely want to address the defensive line. We got Romeo Okwara and Everson Griffin re-signed. We still got Trey Flowers, but this interior D-line definitely is going to need some help. Looking at the linebacker core, we drafted Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and you definitely want to get help at middle linebacker. Re-signed Duron Harmon at free safety, who played a lot of the snaps this season, 99%. Go back to the notable losses. Definitely want to get help at strong safety. Tracy Walker, again, probably won't get the job done for you guys. So, again, you got 3 third-round picks that can definitely help you. You can definitely get some studs in those middle rounds. This team, again, still definitely needs some help on the offensive line and the defense. They're getting there. They have a bright future ahead. When we go to the next slide, you'll see that. They got a lot of draft capital in these next couple of years. That trade with the Rams definitely helped them out. Dan Campbell wants to bring toughness back to Detroit, like Nick stated. I think this was a very good hiring for Detroit. When we do our coaching grades, you'll see what we think about all these coaches and what we think about Dan Campbell. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. I got high hopes for this Detroit Lions team if they make the right moves and make the right picks with their draft picks. Nick, over to you.
Absolutely. Mike, what do you think about this team?
Well, I'm going to come straight out and say it. Vegas has this team as the worst team in football this upcoming year. And that's for a reason. They lack personnel, but with the toughness Dan Campbell can bring into this team, and with the draft capital that they have in the upcoming years, this team can turn themselves around and be good within the next three to 4 seasons. I could see it, but it's Detroit. They generally haven't been good. Not knocking them in any way, shape, or form. Just stating the obvious. Everything they have done has not been right. So let's hope that some change of management in Detroit helps this team craft a roster around Jared Goff, who I think can play well with weapons around him, and build a defense. And who knows? Who knows what can happen? They got the draft picks to make something special happen.
Absolutely. And we'll break that down in a second. So again, you got Dan Campbell. This guy is trying to install toughness, and I think that can go a long way itself. Again, you look at this team, someone that we don't have listed here is Julian Okawara. That is also an edge rusher who came out of last year's draft. Again, I was high on him. We'll see how he pans out. So he's another guy that you guys have. Maybe one of these guys will shift inside to play interior for you. We'll have to wait to see. Like they said, you got 3 third-round picks. Maybe you can establish some interior offensive linemen. Your receiving core, I mean, you go back to this slide, it looks terrible with the moves that we made. Now they're usable. I mean, Jared Goff can have Amon Ross, St. Brown, and Kenny Galladay. You still got TJ Hawkinson, who's an elite tight end. You look at this defense. I mean, it's not great. It's not pretty. I'm going to be honest with you. But Dan Campbell, one thing that this guy's going to do, I don't think he's a strategy guy. He's just a pure motivator. And he's going to try and make some of these players that aren't so talented, he's going to try to grab these guys and motivate them to play hard, fast, tough, and physical football. So let's go to the next slide real fast. We got more for you Detroit Lions guys than usual. Let's go to the next slide where we're going to talk about your future. So here you go. Here's your future. You got your 2022 draft. Right here, this blue pick. This is the one that we got you guys getting from the mock trade from before. You guys got your first round pick. You guys got the first round pick from our mock trade. You got the first round pick from the Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford trade. You also got a second. You got a third from the Stafford trade, and a bunch more. So this right here could be a huge draft for you guys in 2022. 2021, you build a foundation. 2022, you start adding in, you fill in some of those placeholders. And then 2023, you got another first rounder from Stafford. That's the year that you guys can finally start to compete. So I think this year foundation, next year you fill in the placeholders, in 2023 you start to compete. And I think the future is bright for this Detroit Lions team. So again, a lot of draft capital for this team and Jared Goff right here. I think that this team could go a far way as long as if you continue to bite off the team's kneecaps. I think you guys will be just okay. Guys, anything else from you guys?
No, I mean, don't talk back to Dan Campbell. You might get a kneecap bitten off.
I love it, dude. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to see what Coach Dan Campbell can bring to the city of Detroit. Guys, that's all. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jackson.
From Top Notch Sports. We'll see you guys soon. Peace. We are.
No better.
See you guys soon. Peace.